All right, let's move now from the SABC issues to schooling. And of course, the news today that all schools will be opening on the 15th of February. That was an announcement made by the Basic Education Department earlier today. This, of course, comes as the country is battling the second wave of coronavirus. Children were expected back at government schools on the 27th of January. Let's get some more details now. I'm joined by the Basic Education Deputy Minister, Reginah Mhaule. Good evening, Deputy Minister. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. Why the 15th of February? Are you expecting the worst of COVID-19 to have passed by that date?
Good morning to you, Sally, and good morning to the listeners and the viewers at home. Yes, we have taken a decision after we had prepared the school reopening on the systems and everything on our side. We felt it's good, but we then had to consider what health is saying, because they requested that we postpone the opening of high schools, maybe the primary schools. But again, the reason that led to us taking this decision is we considered all the factors that are backed up by research, which and regarding the state of the hospitals in the country, and especially this month of December and January. So when we look at all that, that's why they recommended that we hold a bit. Then we said, okay, let's hold everything. Say, let teachers go to school and prepare for the learners. And as they prepare, they will be looking, will know exactly how many teachers are not coming back, how many teachers are on comorbidity that it might affect their coming and learning, how many have we lost, each school has lost, so that if we just say, go to schools and find that some teachers are not coming back and there's no plan, but if they go there, they know exactly that we, short of this number of teachers, then we come fast and address that. So the health situation in the health institution is what compelled us to hold back, because teachers and learners are members of societies. And if the society is the one that is struggling in health institutions, then it means even teachers bringing them together at the same time might cause a problem for the country.
Sure. NAPTOSA has levelled some criticism, saying, why ask for teachers to come back more than 2 weeks before pupils are expected back in the classroom? And I hear what you're saying is that you're trying to get an assessment of just how sick and how many teachers are sick. But surely that doesn't have to happen by asking them to physically arrive a full 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks, in fact, before the kids come back. Can't you do that assessment by just making contact with them online or through telephone calls?
Our systems, our institutions are not the same. Some schools are in far-flung rural areas where they cannot do that on social media or whatever. But the main reason why teachers should come before, this is unlike in the past, that just teachers will come before 2 days, then learners will come. This time we need to look at all the health protocols, and that are we going to be able to adhere to? Do we have PPEs in place? And the training of teachers, they need to be trained on dealing with these issues of coronavirus. Like we did training last year when they opened in June, but that may not be enough. And we need to assess the entire situation of the schooling. We need to check, still they must come prepare for the timetabling, the differentiated approach.
I hear what you're saying about, sorry to jump in there, but I hear what you're saying about being prepared, and very important point. But the unions are saying, well, actually, you're endangering the teachers by asking them to trek in and out of school for a full sort of 15 days before the kids come back. What's your response to that?
Teachers have a lot to do. Teachers have to allocate one another subjects. They must allocate people that are going to man. Remember, we have been given 300,000 education employment individuals from young people. And those people have been appointed. They must come to work in schools, prepare the schools, because of the 300,000, 100 are general assistants. who will help. Maybe a window is broken, they help fixing the window so that when the children are coming, they cannot do that on their own. They must work under the supervision of teachers, and teachers must plan for the school that this is going to happen. These are the number of classes that we have. These are the number of learners that we have, yes.
All right, let me move on. I want to ask you about the situation regarding private schools. It seems government schools absolutely will not open any time before the 15th, but with private schools there seems to be a different approach. It's sort of, we're encouraging you not to open. I don't understand the different treatment. Why are private schools encouraged to only open on the 15th, but government schools have absolutely no way, it seems, no leeway, it seems, on that date?
Yeah, that's not necessarily the case. Because when we closed, we knew that schools were opening on the 25th of January. And the private schools, the independent schools, they are on a tri-semester. They usually open earlier than all of us. But now, because we are operating under COVID-19 regulations and the Disaster Management Act, the statement that I read today, if I can just repeat that, just that part, which I said, now that the Cabinet has taken a decision, we will once again go back to our stakeholders for consultation on the details of the opening of schools for 2021 school year amid the pandemic. I said,
I'll tell you what I don't understand about it, because we're all living in the same country. And you said to me a little earlier that the concern is hospital capacity, and it's the second wave. And we know, I spoke to a private school teacher, principal, a little earlier, and there are a lot of kids and teachers in private schools who've got COVID-19. And your main point that was given to you by the scientific and medical community is it's the hospital capacity. So that has absolutely no impact on when your school term was being planned for. So surely the same rules should apply to private and public schools.
It does apply. That's why I was just going back to my speech, because I just wanted to know exactly what is it that I said. What I said, which I read, which is in the speech, this includes private schools that have opened already. They will need to postpone their reopening to a later date.
You say a later date. You're not saying the 15th, though?
The 15th, yes, that is the later date, the 15th. So, and now they have opened. Now they have opened, some of them, not all.
That's right, yes.
Some have opened, and some we're aiming at opening next week. That's why we say this includes those that have already opened, that let them take, because we are one
sorry,
country.
Deputy Minister, to jump in here. I need absolute clarity, because one of the things coming back to us as the media is that a lot of the teaching facilities are confused. So are you saying this later date actually is the 15th of February, and that by law, is this by law that you are expecting private schools to only open now on the 15th?
By law, under normal circumstances, independent schools can open anytime as they are ready, by law. And by law, private schools will adhere to the date that private schools and public schools will adhere to the calendar that has been determined by basic education. But now we are operating under one law, which is a Disaster Management Act, which it supersedes now all the other laws, because we are in a situation in the country. That's why we say this is applicable to the sector, and the sector includes all schools in the country, whether independent, private or government schools. That's what constitutes the sector. That's why when we...
Sorry, so just to be absolutely clear, are you saying it has to be the 15th of February for all schools, public or private? That's what is being laid down as the legal way forward now?
Yes. That's why in my speech I said it includes both private and public schools. And we know, we have consulted their associations, and we are still going to talk to them. It's not a once-off consultation, because now we need to go back and consult on the nitty-gritties. There are things that they also want clarity from basic education, and not only the associations, including teacher unions. There are so many baskets of issues that they have raised with us. We said, but let's first jump this first hurdle of opening schools, shifting by 2 weeks.
It's a really good thing, sorry to jump in there, but it's a really good thing that the department has made this decision well in advance, so there's time to actually iron out all these confusing points. One of the things that the department was taken to court on during the last closures was when the school meals were stopped. And by law, they were forced to reinstitute those school meals, even though the schools were still closed, because children were quite literally starving. This is a crucial issue for thousands of school children. Can you give me an assurance tonight that those school meals will still be available to all children who qualify for them from the 27th of January?
That's why teachers need to go before. And as they go, and not only teachers and non-teaching staff, they all go on the 25th to prepare. And as they prepare, National School Nutrition Program is part of that which they must prepare. And check also LTSM, package it nicely for that. When learners come on the 15th is learning and teaching. But any school, when they are ready, they can invite maybe grade 8s for final registration, so that as they come on the 15th, they come for learning and teaching.
All right.
That's
thank you.
What we're saying. And if parents would want their children to be fed at school, we are ready. We have been doing it even last time. Children will only come to get food and go back.
All right, so thank you very much. It's great to hear that public assurance that from the 27th of January, all school children who qualify for those school meals will be able to get them at school. Thank you so much. Such a crucial issue because, of course, schooling is not just about education in South Africa. It's also for many a place where a child can get a meal. Thank you very much, Deputy Minister of Basic Education, Reginah Mhaule, also telling us that private schools must also only go back on the 15th of February.